Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video we're going to be talking about a huge warm-up that's going to be happening for the next 4 or 5 days or so for the northern United States. You might be wondering, well, yesterday's video was about a giant cooldown, so what's that all about? Well, this warm-up is going to occur before the cooldown, so if you see anybody in the comments saying anything like, well, I thought there was going to be a cooldown, you can go ahead and correct them. They probably just didn't even watch the video. They probably just clicked and commented. Now, before we get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you prefer when there's a cooldown upcoming or a warm-up upcoming this time of year? I'm really ready for a warm-up, but I want to know how a lot of you feel. So let me know in the comments down below, and I will be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get started with this video now, and we are taking a look at May 26th. So this is going to be pretty much the peak of our warm-up here, and then just for reference, here's the cooldown by June 1st. So just to give you guys a little bit more of a visual of the time frame, again, later May, we're going to be dealing with a warm-up, and I kind of made the videos backwards, so it's kind of my fault, but yesterday we talked about the cooldown for the beginning of June. In today's video, we will be talking about closing out the month of May and how it will be warmer than normal. So now, let's go ahead and move on, and this is actually going to be May 21st. I want to show you the progression of everything that's happened. We were actually dealing with some colder than normal conditions just a few days ago, and then here's by today. So our warm-up is already starting for the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and all we have to do is really move those warm temperatures into the New England states, and we will be finally talking about an entire northeast and north central United States big warm-up. Now let's go ahead and move on. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at when that warm-up is really going to take hold over these regions. Alright, here it is. And you can see by Tuesday, May 26th, we can see that we really begin to see this warm-up take hold. Wisconsin, Michigan, a lot of the Ohio Valley, especially those northern states in the Ohio Valley. Also, a lot of the interior New England regions as well, dealing with the most above average temperatures, which is kind of the opposite of what's typical. We're seeing 8 to 16 degrees above average for these regions. I'm so used to talking about the colder than normal temperatures, I sometimes mix it up. But we're talking about above average temperatures here, far, far above average temperatures at that. Here's the high temperatures for Tuesday. You can see widespread mid to upper 80s for the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, and this is a lot of warm air compared to what we've been dealing with in the recent months. I'm sure this is going to be quite nice for a lot of you that have been dying for the warmer weather. Here's by the time we reach Wednesday, May 27th, and you can see, again, for the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and especially New England now, we're definitely dealing with some above average temperatures. That's maybe 12 to 20 degrees above average Celsius for New England by this point. And as we look at the actual temperatures, shocking to see upper 80s and 90s for the New England states, including Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and upstate New York. I mean, this is far above average temperatures and definitely some very pleasant weather, very hot weather compared to what they're normally used to. This is above their average for any month. I mean, even July and August, this would be hot for up there. So we're going to be dealing with some quite warm temperatures to close out the month of May here. Now we're about to move on, and we're going to move towards Thursday, where we're going to see a lot of the same story, and we're just going to take this one all the way until the warm-up ends and it becomes a cool down by the time of reaching early June, and then we're going to talk a little bit about our early June thoughts. Alright, and here we are by Thursday, and you can see for the Midwest and the Great Lakes, it's actually kind of calming down a little bit. It's cooling down a little bit, and we're not dealing with as much of those pinks. That's kind of the beginning of the end of this warm-up. We're really going to see it end from west to east. That's usually how this goes with every temperature pattern. We're almost seeing a cool down there for the central United States, and the southeast throughout this entire time has been really below average actually. So this is mostly going to be a north central, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and northeastern United States warm-up, which I know is kind of unusual to see it that different from north to south, but that's what kind of the pattern that we're dealing with here to close out the month of May. And this will discourage severe weather. This type of pattern we typically see a lot less severe weather than what is normal. This is the opposite of what you want. If there was warmer than normal temperatures to the south and colder than normal temperatures to the north, we'd be looking at more severe weather than what's typical. But obviously, we're completely dealing with the opposite here. Let's take a look at what the actual temperatures will be like on Thursday. And this is the high temperatures once again. And you can see actually 70s and 60s there for a lot of the upper Midwest, where we were dealing with some 80s. So it is a bit cooler than what it was before We're seeing 60s all the way down to Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas. It's crazy to see Louisiana and Mississippi, even coastal Mississippi there, colder than Maine. Very unusual. They're even colder than some areas in Michigan, Wisconsin. Very unusual. Even up there in Canada, a lot of areas are warmer than they are down there in Mississippi. Highly, highly unusual there. It's fun to see a pattern like that. Very crazy. Anyway, we're about to move on, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Friday, May 29th, and we're really going to begin to see the pattern switch from the warmer pattern to the much colder pattern. All right, and you can see by this point, the colder than normal temperatures have really taken a hold here for the central United States. They've really dug in. Like I mentioned a few videos ago, this really reminds me of the pattern of 2018. A lot of the fall months and spring months of 2018 in through 2019, we had much similar patterns to this. I think definitely with the two warmer than normal areas to the west and east, with the trough kind of in the central United States. That's basically what we were dealing with from about September, maybe through December of 2018, if I remember correctly. Very, very interesting to see that. You can see for the New England states, we're still dealing with these much above average temperatures, especially for coastal New England there by this point. Here's the high temperature, still about 80 to 85 degrees there. So definitely going to be much warmer than what is typical for a lot of those regions up there. It's going to feel a lot like summer here, a lot like it would in July, August timeframe, but really we're dealing with it in late May. Very, very interesting stuff there. All right, now before we move on, I have some exciting announcements to make. I posted this on one of my community posts here on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out as well. But we have a very exciting couple of weeks coming up. I have my June 2020 forecast, my official June 2020 forecast coming up, my official summer 2020 forecast coming up, our official hurricane season forecast, and then also our first fall preliminary forecast that is coming out. For the seasonal forecasts, I always do 3 of them. So I'll do one for June, one in July, and then one in August. Meteorological fall starts on September 1st, so my final one will come out just before that. I always do that. That's what I've been doing for years. If you're wondering when my first winter forecast will come out, because a lot of you are probably wondering that, I usually will do one of those by time we're in late July. That's when you can expect that, probably the last 2 weeks of July. So we're a good 2 months away from when I'll be thinking about doing my first preliminary winter forecast, just in case you were wondering. So we're about to move on, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how conditions will be by time we're reaching Saturday, and we'll take a look at Sunday and Monday as well. And then we'll get into NOAA's thoughts as far as the next 6 to 10 days, as well as their June and their summer forecasts. So here's by time we're at about Saturday, May 30th, and you can see those warmer than normal temperatures for the eastern seaboard are basically coming to an end, and we're seeing those colder than normal temperatures take a hold over the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley region by this point, and still the upper Midwest. The actual temperatures for the high temperature on Saturday, huge change. We're seeing lower 60s for some areas, even 50s for some areas in New England as well. So we're going to go from upper 80s and 90s for a lot of these regions back down into the lower 60s for high temperature. So it's going to be a drastic cool down for the last couple of days of May and through the first few days of June. Here's by time we're looking at Sunday, May 31st, and you can see much below average temperatures are making their way into the New England states by this point, as well as the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and then again, a lot of the central United States. Here's the low temperatures for Saturday in through Sunday. So we're going to be taking a look. This is earlier on May 31st, 40s, lower 40s for a lot of the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, in the New England states. A lot of people on yesterday's video were like, it's not really going to be cold in June. It's really going to be cold. It's going to be lower 40s for lows, which I don't know if maybe you think differently than I do. But for me, when it's June 1st or May 31st, the lows should not be close to freezing. They should not be within 10 degrees of freezing. That's not normal. So I'm going to consider that cold for June, in my opinion. Here's by Monday, June 1st at 2 a.m. And again, same story, lower 40s for Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, New York, and all of New England as well, even some upper 30s. So yeah, definitely much below average and cold for this time of year. All right, now here's NOAA's thoughts for the 8 to 14 day temperature probability outlook. And you can see that this is going to be from May 31st until June 6th. And they're thinking that especially the eastern seaboard there, the northeastern United States, is going to be below average. And those warmer than normal conditions are really going to take over for the Rockies and a bit of the Midwest as well, probably by time of reaching about the 3rd through the 6th of June. But for the earlier portions, it definitely will be below average for the Midwest. Here's their June outlook as of this point. I don't see how they're calling for warmer than normal conditions for the Northeast. They must really see a flip in the future. I still have to think about what my forecast is for June, but it's really shocking to see them call for warmer than normal conditions for the Northeast when we're going to start things out so cold for the first week. It's really going to need to turn around quickly after that point. Then finally, here's their summer forecast, which basically just looks like a more intense version of their June outlook. I'm assuming they're thinking that by time we're reaching late June through August, we're going to really deal with some warmer than normal conditions for the eastern seaboard. However, I could see the summer really being colder than normal for the Northeast, if I'm being honest, with how the pattern has gone so far. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys to make a bold prediction for the month of June, and this one certainly is very bold. No Quarter said I'm predicting a Category 2 plus hurricane in June. I'm definitely not saying that there will be, but I would be interested to see if there was one. I would definitely come back to this comment because that would be really weird to be able to predict that this far out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.